Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a great evening. Join us in Jenny Live one more evening. At least for the month of January 2026, we will be with you. So February, who knows? I think we'll be probably traveling. So if you're live and you're watching us, go ahead and shoot us a message. Don't forget, our show is about life, about optimism, positivity, advice. So anything you have going on, if you're watching me live, then leave it in the comment. If I don't get to talk about it when we're live, I'll get to talk about it tomorrow for sure. All right. So it is 7:06 here in the beautiful Tulum. We do not have the cold weather yet. I think a lot of you are trying to stay warm, so I hope that's going along well in Miami. Even you're warm-weathered people like us. Yeah, just a little bit of cold and we cry. So anyway, join us, welcome, and don't forget our show is bilingual. You do not miss anything when I do speak in Spanish. I'm just translating, so don't worry. Our QR code is up if you guys want to check out my new book, Heal Yourself, all about how to manipulate and channel energy. Specifically, halfway through the book, we talk about sexual energy, all right? ¿Cómo están, amigos? Muy buenas noches. Espero que estén maravillosamente bien. El día de hoy, bueno, todavía no hemos recibido el frío que están algunos pasando por ahí, pero espero que se estén manteniendo calentitos. Recuerden de que si me están viendo en vivo, siempre miren el número del programa, entonces más o menos 1865, que está aquí abajo, ahí se ve. Hoy es enero 27 del 2026, entonces ahí más o menos saben si están viendo una repetición o no. De lo contrario, siempre recuerden de que Jenny Live es temas de la vida, consejos. Entonces, si tienen alguna consulta, si tienen alguna pregunta, aprovechen y déjenlo en los comentarios de los programas. Yo eventualmente voy a llegar a los comentarios, así que no tengan pena. Y si no, de lo contrario, también lo pueden enviar a jenny@miamitv.com. No se olviden también que nuestro libro ya está disponible y lo pueden adquirir en español en Kindle. Aquí está el QR, siempre me equivoco. Aquí está el QR. Todo sobre la energía y cómo manipular la energía sexual. De hecho, sé que algunos sí me dejaron preguntas sobre eso, así que las voy a tratar de llegar a responderlas al final. Cuando hablo en inglés, no se friquen, no están perdiendo o sea, no es que, si no me entienden, no se preocupen porque traduzco, entonces no es que se estén perdiendo que estoy diciendo otra cosa, ¿ok? Muy bien, amigos, gracias también por sintonizar Miami TV, ahí que me avisaron, all right, guys, so I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but it's like half an hour goes by so quickly when you're talking that yesterday we were talking about phobias and fears. So I hope that you got that and you started acting upon it. Did you do your exercises? I hope so. You're staying positive. All right, we're going to talk about Alex Honnold, a name that I don't think anybody really knew until about a few days ago, where Netflix exploded. But I don't want to talk about what he did. I want to talk about where we're getting at with this because it's a little bit scary. I kind of feel like we're getting to the point where Squid Games is going to be one of those live things, right? Or Hunger Games is going to eventually become something realistic. It's scary. January 25, 2026, in case you didn't know and you haven't been watching social media, renowned American free solo climber Alex Honnold, famous for his Oscar-winning free solo documentary Ascend of El Capitan. Oh, okay, so he was very well known. I just didn't know who he was. Achieved a historic first by free soloing the entire 508 meter, that's 1,667 feet, exterior of Taipei 101, the 11th tallest building in the world, without ropes, without harness, any safety gear. It was a live Netflix broadcast event titled Skyscraper Live. I think that night I ended up watching 007. It just gave me a little bit of anxiety, but I promise that there's probably a bunch of people that were just waiting to see if something happened. It's the rush, right? That adrenaline rush. It's scary to think that we would give so much rating for something so dangerous. You know, it makes me think like, are we going to get to the point where entertainment is going to be so overwhelmed with the amount of variety that you're going to be able to see, especially with AI, right? That we're going to lose that sense of reality. We're going to lose that sense of drive and adrenaline rush. And it's like maybe every time we're going to need a little more, and the ratings are just going to start going down because it will get to the point. I don't know, depending on how old you are, but I'm 37, and when I was a kid and we had these really huge square TVs, you only had a few shows to watch. It wasn't that many. I know some of you went through the process of seeing the first TV ever probably as well, but it was like, oh my God, it was such an adrenaline rush, and just so it was entertaining to see something, and that's all anybody would talk about, right? It was just like a few shows on TV and that's it. Now, after so many years, we're getting to the point where we're losing this like sense of attention where everybody's scrolling, everybody has a really short sense of how long they want to be watching something before they get bored. So it's not enough. This kind of reminds me of people that are addicted to porn. They start with something really light, and then it's like, I've seen it already, so they need something stronger, something stronger, something stronger, and that's when addiction becomes. And we know, of course, that scrolling is an addiction as well. So that's if you are seeing yourself not being, I'm thinking in Spanish today would be saciados. In English would be like if it's not enough to see something and you need to switch every second, there's definitely something going on up there that you need to fix. How's your attention span? How is your attention like throughout the day? Do you get bored really easy? Are you doing things that really just make you feel full and make you feel happy and fulfilled? Or is it just like, okay, I'm bored, what's next? And that's how your whole day is because you're scrolling all day. So I think it's amazing what he did, what Alex did. I think it's, to be congratulated. Apparently he got paid really little, just 6 figures. He said that compared to other athletes, he said, I would have done it for free, but compared to what other athletes get, that was way too little, that what Netflix paid him. And then Mr. Beast came out saying, like, I would have paid you a lot more if you did it in my YouTube channel. So we're getting into this like crazy competition of attention spans, right? Like who's gonna keep you watching for longer? Which I think is insane because honestly, it's just a matter of, well, you do whatever it is that you feel, and whoever connects with you, great, and whoever doesn't, doesn't. I mean, there's going to be so much for everyone, right? But it's scary to think that this happened and this was live streamed and it was promoted and it caught so many millions of eyes because that's the beginning. That's the beginning of. Do you think that maybe we'll end up getting to a process of in a few years from now? People are going to be so bored of the same content and the same entertaining that everybody's going to start like to go out of their way to create more daring content. We've already seen social media. Unfortunately, social media people that have like been doing pictures and videos, and they've like, I don't know, got run over, or they've fallen over a cliff, or they've dropped their phones, or there's others that were taking pictures and a huge wave came by and just like took them away just because they were doing a photo for social media. So I'm not going to add myself to that equation, but most people like are so involved in wanting to put their whole lives, and I don't know, like what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to? Why? Why do you post absolutely everything? Unless you're working and that's your job, it doesn't really make sense that you would want to share your whole world with everybody out there to basically judge, right? And something that I saw today, Cristiano Ronaldo had a New Year's Eve out with a friend years back, and he did an interview about this, and he said, we didn't know what to do for New Year's, me and my friends, so we decided to disguise ourselves and go to a club. And apparently it was a few hours until they spoke Portuguese and somebody actually said, oh, you look like a Cristiano Ronaldo, and then, well, that's where the night went. But he said it was the best night of his life. And it's like, there's so much hunger for people and fame that you don't realize the consequences that come with it. So don't go so crazy over trying to stand out in social media. In fact, I think today, because everybody's doing social media, it kind of already lost I don't know, its spark, I guess you could say, where it's like, well, why do you want to be doing something that everybody else is doing? So be careful what you wish for. And I would love to hear your opinion. Do you think that we're going that way, where eventually people are going to be doing more dangerous things to stand out, things to be unique because they are losing rating, they're losing views? Kind of reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror where your credit was based on how many likes you had on your pictures, and it's like, oh, if you're not popular, you're not getting any money. And in a way, it's kind of, what's happening with this generation. So I think, again, amazing what Alex did, but scary, because I do believe that's the beginning of, that was like a test. Right? Like, are people going to watch it? And of course you're going to watch it because you're waiting to see what's going to happen. We've been doing live streaming for 17 years now, so it's a long time. And yes, our whole Miami TV was lives. When nobody was doing lives, we would be going live from nightclubs from all around the world. So, of course, live shows actually work more than just recorded, because it's the adrenaline of knowing that you're watching it in the moment, and whatever happens, and especially if there's no script. Most of these shows obviously have a tremendous amount of security and safety things and everything, but knowing psychologically that, just knowing that he didn't have a harness, he didn't have anything to really protect him, was just like, dude, this guy could fall like any minute. Of course, I'm sure nobody was hoping for that, or maybe they were, and it's that morbid feeling. And then we see these movies, right, where they show, there's been plenty of movies where they show that, like, people are being, for example, I don't know, like burned alive, or they put them in like a tank with piranhas, and they're live streaming it, and people are paying to see, right, that nastiness of somebody dying. And it's like, don't you realize the more you pay, the more that person is going to get hurt? So this hasn't, this isn't just an idea. Like, there's a director that actually thought of this because it's a possibility that it will happen. And it's that humans are morbid, it's this degenerate feeling of like, why are you hoping for something bad to happen? It's like yesterday we were mentioning the news, right? You hear, oh, one person died and it's not a big deal. But when you hear a shocking news of something, disastrous, then all of a sudden you're paying attention. And that's why the headlines are always the crazy ones, right? Clickbait is something that is also to the max, I think, where, and I don't know if that's going to be also kind of maybe eventually monitored in a way where it shouldn't be allowed, because my mom came in here like yesterday from her cabin, and she was like, oh my God, I'm looking in YouTube that Trump is going to be impeached and all this craziness. And I'm like, Mom, where'd you hear that? And I'm looking at the news, and she's getting it from like this YouTube channel, I think it was like a Russian it was all, I think it was in Russian, YouTube channel, and the icon, like the thumbnail of the channel was very fake, and it was all AI. Like, they were using, I don't know his name, but they were using like a presenter from BBC News to give fake news, and it was just an avatar with AI. And she's like, so it's not real? And I'm like, no, it's not real. I'm like, that's why I only trust Grok. I'll go in and I'm like, if something isn't trending there or something isn't being talked about, then no. But there's a lot of people that fall into this, and she was like really hyped. I mean, she was like, oh my God, this is like really, this is crazy. And I'm like, calm down. So imagine the amount of people that this happens to every day. Like, you're all being just played with, like your emotions are being played with. And that is very dangerous. You have no control of your emotions. Most of you do not have control of your emotions. You get carried away by the first stupid thing you see online, and that's it. That's your day for the rest of your day. So you're allowing somebody else to totally control your energy for the rest of the day. And that's dangerous, that is happening. So make sure that you pay attention to that. And make sure you don't believe everything you see, especially now because AI has gotten so perfect already. And just whatever happens, even if it's real and even if there's an alien invasion somewhere, just take a deep breath, calm down. If there's nothing you could do about it, then think with a clear mind, okay? Muy bien, amigos. I'm gonna translate in Spanish. You won't miss anything. But in the meantime, if you have any comments, let me know. Muy bien, entonces, hace unos días hubo una transmisión en vivo en Netflix. Él se llama, perdón, Alex Honnold y subió 508 metros, 1.667 pies en el exterior del edificio el 11 edificio más alto del mundo. Se llama Taipei 101, sin nada, o sea, sin nada de seguridad, sin cuerdas, sin absolutamente nada. Me acuerdo que nosotros estábamos aquí, terminamos viendo Agente 007, pusimos el vivo y fue como que no nos interesó. Pero bueno, la cantidad de gente que se conectó me parece fantástico, ¿no? Lo que hicieron. No lo he visto, he visto fotos, pero nada más el desafío, ¿no? De hacerlo me parece fantástico. Sin embargo, también trae aparejado un poquito de preocupación el pensar de que esto solo fue una prueba. O sea, Netflix no es conocido como, obviamente ahora va a cambiar porque lo compró otra persona, pero otra empresa. No son muy conocidos para hacer eventos en vivo. Y este tipo de lanzamiento, este tipo de evento en vivo, te pones a pensar y dices, wow, o sea, la adrenalina que sienten hasta los que están mirando por solo el hecho de pensar de que algo puede pasar, de que se puede caer, o sea, es el pensar y saber de que no tiene absolutamente nada puesto, ¿no? Y es ese morbo mental que le sucede a la gente que al fin y al cabo es lo que da el rating. Por eso, como decíamos ayer, cuando alguien dice no, porque hubo una, no sé, una masacre o hubo un desastre en tal lugar y murieron 5 personas. Y tú como que, bueno, sí, no, ni salen las noticias porque no es noticia. Pero de repente que murieron 4.000 personas es como que, wow, ¿escuchaste lo que pasó en tal lugar? Sí, no sé qué. Somos personas de caos, lamentablemente, y eso pues los medios lo saben. Ya no existen tanto medios de comunicación como habían antes, ya han perdido la fuerza. Si ustedes son de los que siguen esos medios de comunicación, pues no se los recomiendo porque ya, o sea, el verse forzados a falsificar cosas solamente para tener rating es muy triste, pero sí sucede. Y la verdad que te hace pensar en todas esas películas que han sacado, donde, por ejemplo, sale el asesino serial, ¿no? Y termina poniendo un vivo, secuestra a alguien, pone a alguien en vivo y dice, bueno, cuanto más dinero paguen, cuanto más personas entren, pues más rápido muere la persona. Y no ha sido solo una película la que ha salido así, han sido varias. Entonces, obviamente, uno se tiene que dar cuenta de que ¿hasta qué punto va el entretenimiento? O sea, ¿hasta qué punto vamos a llegar? Empezamos con, bueno, algo sumamente peligroso, que es la vida de una persona literalmente expuesta para subir a un edificio sin arneses y sin nada, meramente o sea, solamente por el entretenimiento de los demás. Entonces, fíjense el Squid Games, ¿no? También, o sea, ¿creen de que llegaremos en algún momento u otro a tener algo así como los Hunger Games? Que no sé cómo se dice en español esa serie, pero básicamente o sea, cosas que tengan que ver con vida y muerte, cosas que tengan que ver con pues ese tipo de adrenalina tan difícil, tan extrema, solo porque quizás estemos tan saturados de entretenimiento en unos años que la gente no va a saber qué hacer para entretenerte, porque va a haber una competencia de pantalla tan grande. Antes, por lo menos hace años, eran, bueno, uno que otro, ¿no? O sea, hacían vivos, hacían esto, pero ahora es cada vez más y más, millones. Entonces, yo siento de que va a haber un exceso de entretenimiento, va a haber un exceso de contenido y eso pues quién sabe, puede patear para cualquier lado, pero a la larga creo que también la competencia en qué hacer para llamar la atención, ya lo hemos visto en personas que son influencers que solamente por sacarse una foto, terminaron hace unos meses, por ejemplo, una chica estaba sacándose una foto en unas piedras y se la llevó una ola y falleció. O sea, pero así no sé si cientos o miles, pero ha pasado muchísimo. O sea, gente que por distraídos o por tener la mejor toma posible se cae de un edificio, o se tropieza, o se hiere, o termina en el hospital. Gente que ha tomado, agarran los trends, ¿no? Y terminan, no, que toma tal cosa rápido y terminan muriéndose. Bueno, me río, no es chistoso, la verdad, es realmente triste. Pensar de cuál es la necesidad de las personas de querer que la gente vea qué es lo que hacen todo el tiempo. O sea, es como que te vas a lavar los dientes y ahí estás poniendo una foto. Si vives de eso, lo entiendo, es una cosa, ¿no? Pero si no vives de eso, la necesidad de aprobación de gente que no conoces en internet, psicológicamente realmente creo que es problemático. O sea, el que no estemos buscando o sea, primero que todo, ¿por qué buscamos una aceptación de los demás, no? Más bien es como que, bueno, haz lo que te hace feliz y vas a juntar cierta cantidad de gente que le gusta lo que haces y otros que no, o sea, pero no pasa nada, o sea, para eso hay millones de personas y hay millones de canales, ¿no? Pero sí quería que me cuenten su opinión. ¿Ustedes qué dicen? ¿Opinan de que vamos a terminar en ese tipo de, de entretenimiento? Yo creo que sí, yo creo que va a haber un exceso y ya la gente no va a saber qué hacer para ganarse el rating, porque va a estar tan dividido. Tan dividido. Y la otra, por supuesto, es que tenemos, ya hemos, no me sumo al tema, pero para la mayoría de personas, pues ya se ha vuelto pues un problema mental donde no pueden tener atención a algo. Las películas largas ya de por sí no son muy vistas como los cortos porque la gente no tiene paciencia. Entonces, de por sí estamos permitiendo ser manipulados absolutamente por algo exterior, por otras personas en Internet, de cómo va a ser nuestra energía el resto del día. Entonces es súper importante, y ya sé que sueno como un disco roto, pero es súper importante que sepan balancear los tiempos en la tecnología. Ya, como les digo, si es para trabajo es una cosa, pero todo el tiempo que tú te pasas entretenido, justamente no lo estás enfocando en tu progreso personal, porque la palabra entretenimiento justamente pues lo dice todo, ¿no? O sea, cuando tú estás entretenido, pues no estás básicamente haciendo nada. Y así se te va la vida, o sea, que tengan mucho cuidado, pónganse sus límites, así se tengan que poner una alarma y no caigan en esa decadencia mental que sí está sucediendo, no sean parte de ese grupo de personas, y al contrario, seamos los que vamos para atrás, ¿no? O sea, los que estamos buscando más esa conexión con la naturaleza, conexión con nosotros mismos, con los deportes, con la salud, con el comer bien, con el sol, con los animales, porque pues quién sabe si el día de mañana haya un apagón muy grande y ya no haya internet, ya no haya luz y los únicos que van a poder llevar a cabo un poquito de paz y armonía a los demás van a ser los que todavía tienen la mente bien puesta. Que de la forma que van las cosas, no creo que ya suceda. En un momento sí estábamos muy al borde de que sucedieran así, pero por ahora vamos bien, vamos encaminados. Hay un porcentaje interesante ya en el mundo que está despertando y bueno, y van a seguir despertando, por lo tanto, qué bien por ustedes. Me alegra mucho. All right, guys. There's a percentage of our planet that has already awakened. So if you're ready, if you're one of those that has ascended, that you feel like your energy has gotten brighter and higher, you're not going to be involved in that masses, of being entertained all the time. No, you're going to be the one to bring peace and grounding to those that are totally lost and zombied out by technology. So it's important for you to be in that group. Es importante para estar en ese grupo de los que estamos aterrizados, ¿no? Para poder ayudar a aterrizar a los demás. Hello, Jenny. Can you send us a wave of positive energy, like a pray for all? Oh, I'm always sending you positive energy. You should know. Nos puedes mandar un poco de energía positiva, un saludo para todos, un saludo. ¿Puedo llorar en ti? No, no llores, porque tienes ganas de llorar. No, la vida es bella. Life is beautiful. Why do you feel like you want to cry? No, no, no. Hello from New Zealand. You sound amazing. Beautiful background. Best wishes. Thank you. All right, guys. By the way, we are going to have, hermoso tu programa, felicidades, siempre divina. Gracias. We are going to have Jenny Live on loop for, as a channel. So remember that when I'm live, it's usually at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, so FYI. Otra cosa que sucedió que quería mencionar cuando pasó lo de Alex, que o sea, lo de la persona que subió al edificio, sale Mr. Beast diciendo de que le pagaron muy poquito, o sea, él mismo dijo, me pagaron muy poquito, me pagaron seis números, solamente, o sea, Netflix le pagó eso para subir al edificio. Dice, y la verdad le pagan muchísimo más a otros atletas, por lo tanto, lo hice por el placer de hacerlo, pero pues después salió el otro diciendo, no, pues si lo hubieras hecho en mi canal te hubiera pagado mucho más. Imagínate estar arriesgando tu vida y saber de que pues ni siquiera te están pagando como corresponde. No, no, gracias. Solo por la adrenalina, genial. Hay gente que sí, que vive para los desafíos y bueno, si mueren, pues mueren felices por lo menos. Y yo creo que eso se trata un poco la vida, ¿no? Como decíamos ayer. El día que te toque pues irte, te tocará, no la tenemos comprada. Así que es importante, justamente ayer hablando de los miedos, importante no vivir con miedos. Y qué mejor que ese tipo de ejemplo, ¿no? De estas personitas como para demostrarte de que no hay que vivir con miedo. Le hicieron un examen a él para ver cómo reaccionaba ante el miedo, ante esa adrenalina del miedo. Y notaron de que su glándula no generaba el mismo tipo de químico de otra persona normal y que no siente miedo como otras personas. Qué loco, ¿no? O sea, pero yo creo que eso es un estado mental pues, muy bueno, obvio. Es un control de la mente, es un control de poder decidir pues qué te afecta y qué no. Yo te apuesto de que esta persona, ¿cómo es su apellido? Alex Honnold, te apuesto de que puede estar en cualquier tipo de situación y no lo vas a poder sacar de su concentración, no lo vas a poder sacar de su órbita. Entonces son ejemplos que no lo miramos así porque solo miramos como que, ay, qué chévere, está subiendo un edificio, pero son ejemplos de personas. ¿Por qué? Porque el tener esa capacidad mental para poder realmente estar tan concentrado y no dejarse distraer por los ruidos, la gente, las cámaras, pues es algo que creo que todos tenemos que eventualmente llegar ahí y es el control de tus emociones. Cosa de que no la vas a lograr nunca si estás siendo manipulado constantemente con videos cortitos que solamente te dan pues como que shots de adrenalina y dopamina cortitos. Entonces ahí vas, que en un momento estás feliz, el otro estás triste, el otro estás emocionado, el otro estás molesto y ahí van tus emociones así como una montaña rusa. Y luego también veo de que hay promociones de aplicaciones de música de meditación. Chicos, si ustedes quieren calmar la mente, silencio. O sea, no consuman absolutamente nada. No necesitan escuchar música para estar conectados con ustedes mismos. Entonces, más bien, se les hace difícil concentrarse, primero usen, ok, está bien, algún tipo de incentivo como música. Pero no se acostumbren. Hay gente que medita con música, no, o que para relajarte necesitas música, o que para dormir necesitas música, no, porque entonces tu mente nunca descansa. Tienes que aprender a estar en silencio y no molestarte por ese silencio. Esa es tu meta. Another thing I think that people don't see is like, situations like this, like Alex is a great example for mind control, if you think about it. And I think that's something that evaluating it, like I don't think a lot of people really, took that from the show. It was just like, oh, how cool, he could die. It's amazing, his skills to go up there, but the mental skill overall. So that's something that everybody should be aiming for. And it's that mind control, that control of being able to really say, I decide to be focused right now and nobody and nothing is going to come across to distract me. Period. And that is having control of your emotions. And if you can have that, you can have anything in life. So that is a great example. I think that was, in a way, a great role model in that case. Imagine having so many cameras and being so high. They studied his mind, and they saw that the gland that provides this fear doesn't really react chemically the way that it does in other people. So usually that's how most people are, because you're so lost in your mind with all of the radiation, all of the entertainment, all of the information and misinformation that you're getting daily, that the moment that you need to focus, or the moment that you need to actually do something and prepare, you can't do it, because your mind is just going at 1,000 miles a minute, and it's like, what? No, I don't like being quiet. I don't like, I don't like the sound of nothingness. I don't like the sound of quietness. So, and then there's apps being promoted on YouTube, like you can, maybe even in the stream, who knows? But I saw it today, and it's like, this is what your mind is like when you're, when it's altered, and it showed, of course, the wave, like I always show. And then it's like, and this is where your mind is in tune and in symphony, and it's a nice, quiet one. So this is the app for you to learn to relax. Listen to these sound waves. Guys, unless you cannot concentrate, you can start by listening to calming music. But if you want to get to, your goal is to be in silence. You don't need to purchase anything to do that. The goal is for you to listen to yourself, listen to your heart, listen to your thoughts, evaluate yourself. And that's what nobody's going to want you to get to, because if you do that, guess what? You're no longer a consumer. So when somebody's trying to push on you something that you need to buy, enable to find yourself in that quietness, you could use it as a tool, but know that eventually you should not go to sleep with music. You should not meditate with music. You should not need music to calm yourself down. On the contrary, you can use music, the vibration of music, to get energy, to do something, to get motivated. That's why I launched the new motivation channel. It's called Positive Jams with a Z in YouTube. But that's different, like house music. There's certain music that really gives you this strength energy, and that's the one that you use to work out or to go for a walk or to get motivated. But to meditate, to resolve your issues and your problems, quietness, no sound, no matter if it's the sound of the waves and the sound of birds. Zero, zip, nothing, okay? So build yourself to get to that point, because that is the only moment where you're going to be able to listen to whatever messages are there for you according to whatever situation you're going through, of course. So it's basically opening up to the universe, opening up to the ethers, so that you can download the information that you need. All right? And a lot of times it's maybe not even for you. Maybe it's for somebody else. Maybe it's just for you to help somebody else. Most of my book was like a download of information based in so many years of practice. But yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing evening. Stay positive. Be good. Don't get carried away by society. And don't be part of the masses. That's all I got to say tonight. Don't forget, if you're going through something, if you want to share, you can totally email me anonymous, jenny@miamitv.com, and I'll be happy to respond live on the next show. Bueno, amigos, nos vemos en la próxima. Un beso muy grande, que estén muy bien. No se olviden, traten de no sean partes de las masas, no sean no vayan con el grupo de personas de la población. Al contrario, sean únicos, sean ustedes, encuentren su identidad, encuentren lo que les hace feliz. Y bueno, sea lo que sea, no crean todo lo que ven en internet. Por favor, no caigan en el pánico, no caigan en el caos, porque más allá de que pase lo que pase, tú tienes que tener control de cómo te afecta, para poder entonces ser ese líder que necesita tu familia, ese líder que necesitan tus amigos. Entonces, eso solamente lo puedes hacer si tienes una mente pensante, una mente calma, una mente tranquila, ¿ok? Y armonía y paz, por supuesto, en ti. Entonces, estén despiertos. Nos vemos en la próxima. No se olviden, si tienen algún comentario o si están pasando por algo, quieren algún consejo, pueden escribirme a jenny@miamitv.com. Un besito, que descansen. Continuamos ahora en Sun Beach TV con un seminario para nuestros miembros. Don't forget, join us in Sun Beach TV. We have positive energy seminars daily for our members. Bye-bye.